श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज, निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु, जो दायक फल चारी। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके, सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि, हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, कुमति निवारि सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा बिराजे, कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम प्रिय भरति सब भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जब कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपथ दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मैली मुख बाहि, जलधि लागी गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तो भरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त तर धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूट ही बंधि महा सुख होय। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्ध साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय बहडेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय बहडेरा। पवन तरे संकट हरण, मंगल मूरति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। संकट मोचन हनुमान अष्टकम। पाल सबे रवि भक्ष लियो, तब तीनों लोक भयो अधियारो। ताहि सो त्रास भयो जग को, यह संकट काहू सो जात नटारो। देवन आदि करि बेनती, देवन आदि करी बेनती, तब छाड़ दियो रवि कष्ट निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बाली की त्रास कपिस बसे, गिरी जात महाप्रभु पत निहारो। चौकी महामुने शाप दियो, तब चाहिए कौन विचार विचारो। क्वैद्य रूप लिवाय महाप्रभु, क्वैद्य रूप लिवाय महाप्रभु। सो तुम दास के शोक निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। अंगद के सगले न गए, अंगद के सगले न गए, सिय खोज कपि से ये बैन उचारो। जीविती ना बचियो हम सो जुबेना सुधि लाए, इया पागु ढारो। जीविती ना बचियो हम सो जुबेना सुधि लाए, इया पागु ढारो। हेरि टके टट सिद्धू सबे तब, हेरि टके टट सिद्धू सबे तब, लाए सिया सुधि प्राण उबारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। रावण त्रास दहि सिय को, रावण त्रास दहि सिय को, सब राक्षसी सो कहे शोक निवारो। ताहि सबे हनुमान महाप्रभु जाए, महारज नीचर मारो। ताहि सबे हनुमान महाप्रभु जाए, महारज नीचर मारो। चाहत सिय अशोक सो आगी, चाहत सिय अशोक सो आगी, सुधे प्रभु मुद्रिका शोक निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बाण लग्यो उर लक्ष्मण के, तब प्राण तजे सुत रावण मार्यो। लेग्रहा वेद सुषेण समेत, तबे गिरि द्रोण सुबीर उपारो। आदि सजीवन हाथ दही तब, आदि सजीवन हाथ दही तब, लक्ष्मण के तुम प्राण उबारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कपि संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। रावण जुद अजान कियो तब नाग के फास सबे सिर डारो। श्री रघुनाथ समेत सबे दल मोह भयो यह संकट भारो। आदि खगेश तबे हनुमान आदि खगेश तबे हनुमान जो बंधन काटी सूत्रास निवारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। बंधु समेत जब है रावण बधु समेत जब अहि रावण ले रघुनाथ पाताल सिधारो। देवी ही पूजी भली विधि सौ बलि देहु सबे मिली मंत्र विचारो। देवी ही पूजी भली विधि सौ बलि देहु सबे मिली मंत्र विचारो। जाय सहाय भयो तबहि जाय सहाय भयो तबहि अहि रावण सैन्य समेत सहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। काज किए बड़ देवन के काज किए बड़ देवन के तुम वीर महाप्रभु देखी विचारो। कौन सो संकट मोर गरीब को जो तुम सो नहीं जात है टारो। कौन सो संकट मोर गरीब को जो तुम सो नहीं जात है टारो। मैगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु मैगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु जो कछु संकट होए हमारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। कौन ही जानत है जग में कभी संकट मोचन नाम तिहारो। लाल देह लालील से अरुधरि लाल लगूर। वज देह दानव दलर। जय 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 कपिशूर पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। जय Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. So where are we? We are in the 9th book of Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. And in that we were studying the Charitra of Ramji. And when we started studying the Charitra of Ramji, it was very difficult to move on. Ramji hai aise, akarshak, manmohak. So what we did is, instead of just going by the 3 chapters which are given in the Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, we opened the Ramcharitramans by Tulsi Baba. And there we took and we understood a lot of things about Sri Ram. And we started the Vibhishan Gita also. Vibhishan Gita is beautiful. It is like a capsule of all the granths. Once we are able to internalize the Vibhishan Gita, we are able to internalize what Sri Ram is saying to Vibhishan. We are able to put this in practice, or we have the sankalp of putting this in practice. We have the intention. Intention is also very important. If you don't have the intention, you will never do it, right? So once there is an intention of putting all the knowledge we have learned in Vibhishan Gita, internalizing it and putting it in practice, that is where we would have been able to achieve or understand a little bit of Sri Ram. Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, the great and divine, their lives full of misery and mystery. Yet, they only became better and they never became bitter. They only loved more. They never learned how to hate. They only cared more. Every obstacle, every trial, every failure, Made them stand up and embrace. Made them stand up and love. Made them stand up and try once again. Made them stand up. And so they stood tall. And even today, we look up to them to guide us in our way of life. Shri Ram. The divine Shri Ram is standing in the battlefield without an armor, without shoes, without anything. And Vibhishan panics. And Shri Ram addresses him by saying, the chariot, the weapons, the armors that are needed to win any battle in life are not the ones which can be tangibly seen or touched. But they are beyond our imagination, they are intangible. And the one who has it is successful no matter what. Initially, we talked about Sauraj Dhiraj Tehirata Chaka Satyashil Dhwaja Pataka Bal Vivek Dam Parahita Ghode Shaba Kripa Samata Raju Jode. So 10 here, and then we move on. Isha Bhajanu Sarati Sujana. First we talked about 10 qualities. Just now we mentioned 10 qualities which have to be nurtured. Isha Bhajanu Sarati Sujana. Isha Bhajan is the charioteer. What? Ishwar Pranidhana. Ishwar, reverence towards the Lord, is my charioteer. My Lord is my charioteer. And Birati Charam Santosha Kripana. Birati and Charam. And Birati Charam Santosha Kripana. Birati and Santosh. Dan Parashu Buddhi Shakti Prajanda. Parabhigyana Kathina Kodanda. Abala Achala Mana Trona Samana. Samjam Niyan Sili Mukha Nada. So many. Then we go on to discuss even more qualities which need to be nurtured. We talked about Shastras, we talked about Astras. Right now we are talking about Sab, Jam, Niyam. Sili Mukhnana, these are the arrows. And arrows travel at a distance. What are we attacking with these arrows? Our innate vasanas. In the previous sessions, we have discussed all these points in great detail. So if you have missed it, kindly go back and refer to them. Make notes. As we said, these scriptures are not for leisure reading. You can start with leisure reading, but this is a study. And when you're studying, what do we say? Have a dedicated notebook, have a dedicated pencil, have a dedicated place, have a dedicated time, and have discipline, persistence, and dedication. Baki aapki marzi. So, Sam Jam Niyama Sili Mukhanana. So we talked about Sam, and then we talked about Yam. Yam is how should we behave with others, right? And now we are going to go on to Niyam. What are niyams? There are 5 niyams as mentioned in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Where they are Tapas, Sauchya, Santosh, Swadhyay, and Ishwar Pranidhanaha. Ishwar Pranidhanaha. These are the 5 niyams. Again I'll repeat. Tapas, Sauchya. Tapas is austerities. Sauchya, purity. Santosh, contentment. Swadhyaya, study of self and study of the scriptures. And Ishwar Pranidhana, total surrender to the Lord's will. Total surrender to the Lord's will. Worship to the Lord. And if I were to tell you that these 5 niyams can be fit into just one paragraph, If we can remind ourselves of these words, we will be able to capture all the 5 niyams. And this is from a book, Shantaram, by George David Robert. And he says in this book, there is a paragraph which is very close to my heart. And it says, "It took me a long time and most of the world to learn what I know about love and fate and the choices we make. But the heart of it came to me in an instant while I was chained to a wall and being tortured. I realized somehow through the screaming of my mind that even in the shackled, bloody helplessness, I was still free. Free to hate the men who were torturing me or to forgive them. It doesn't sound like much, I know, but in the flinch and bite of the chain, when it's all you have got, that freedom is a universe of possibility. And the choice you make between hating and forgiving can become the story of your life. Can become the story of your life. Just like it became the story of Ramji's life, and we still revere it with respect and dedication and determination and love. It was Ramayana. Just like it became the story of Sri Krishna's life. Just like it became the story of Amrish's life. Just like it became the story of Harishchandraji's life. Just like it became the story of Guru Nanak's life. That moment of choice between hating and forgiving. That moment of choice between choosing others over the self. That one moment makes a Ram, a Krishna, a Guru Nanak, a Buddha, a Siddhartha Buddha, an Amrish, a Harishchandra. That one moment. And we all get that same moment. We all get it. We all have a chance. But the choices we make is the difference between us and them, or can be the difference between us and them. And this is what niyam is. In this one paragraph, austerities are covered. What is tapa? Tapa is when against your indriyas, against your senses, against your desires to act in a particular manner, to behave in a particular manner, you are able to control yourself and do what is divine. That is tapa. What is satya? Purity. When there is purity of heart, and there is no hate, and there is forgiveness. There is no hate, but there is forgiveness for the people who are hurting you again and again. That is purity. Santosh, a satisfaction that yes, whatever is the situation, I accept it. And even in this situation, I choose to forgive. We cannot forgive if we are not in acceptance of a situation. And just imagine the amount of self-analysis that has gone into this paragraph. I'd like to read it again. Look at the self-analysis which is going on in this paragraph. It took me a long time and most of the world to learn what I know about love and fate and the choices we make. But the heart of it came to me in an instant while I was chained to the wall and being tortured. I realized somehow, through the screaming of my mind, that in the shackled, bloody helplessness, I was still free. Free to hate the men who were torturing me or to forgive them. It doesn't sound like much, I know, but in the flinch and bite of the chain, when it is all you have got, that freedom is a universe of possibilities. And the choice you make between hating and forgiving can become the story of your life. The self-analysis that has gone in, the choice, the learning, and an attitude of surrender. This is the situation, right? I am in this situation. I can't free myself from the situation. Yet, I still choose to forgive. I still choose to forget. I still choose to love. I still do not want to hate. I am in full acceptance of this situation. Ishvara Pranidhana. These kind of messages are a part of our daily life. Either we choose to accept them or we choose to negate them. Because no great author can avoid writing about niyam. No great author can avoid writing about yam. Consciously or unconsciously. When you're positive about everything, it is niyam. When you love everybody and are willing to give, it is yam. Or hai kya? These are all simple concepts. They are not very difficult. Yet, the implementation element is difficult. I was planning to take this poem in the end, and I've already sent it to you once, but I'd like to read it once again. Again, in the context of yam and niyam, especially in the context of niyam, what are the 5 elements? Austerities, purity, contentment, self-analysis, self-study or study of scriptures, and surrender to the Lord. This poem is the poem If, right? It is the poem If, written by a British writer. And in a nutshell, it tells us what niyam is. Let's just read it together and please pay attention to every word. Every word is as important as a shastra. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken twisted to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winning, if you can make one heap of all your winning and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve to serve your turn long after they are gone, And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtues, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all bad men count with you, but none too much, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more. You'll be a man by sun, and which is more, you will be a man by sun. Our Vedas tell us, they shout out all the time from the top of their voices, Manur Bhav, Manur Bhav, Manur Bhav, Manushya, tu Manushya Banja. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son, tu Manushya Banja. These are simple. This is no rocket science. This, right now I'm holding, this is a poetry. This is in a grade 7th book. Is it too difficult to understand? If a grade 7 child can understand it, can't be. This is being taught to them in grade 7. And this is what Niyam is all about. Very simple. Very simple. कहते हैं ना, बन के बते ना चालिए, बन के बते अनेक. And how will all this come? It does not come overnight. We feel कि suddenly we'll get up one morning and voila, we'll be enlightened souls. ऐसे नहीं होता. It requires practice. Practice, 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 persistence, 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 determination, 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 dedication, 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 patience, patience, patience. And again you start with persistence, persistence, persistence. And it could be a long wait. Not this birth, probably the next, and not next birth, probably the birth after. But this is how I want to become. I want to become a man. I want to become a Manushya. That kind of a determination and dedication, that kind of a burning fire within, that is tapas. वो जो ज्वाला होती है ना अंदर से, there should be a burning fire. This human birth को मैं सार्थक बनाऊंगा. This human birth is not going to be wasted. And when do we start? We don't start when we are 60, 70, 80. We start right now. No matter what your age. If you're 5, you start at 5. If you're 3, you start at 3. If you're in your mother's belly, you start then. If you're 20, you start at 20. If you're 15, you start at 15. You start right now. Ignite that fire of tapas. Ignite that fire within. That yearning desire to know the Lord, to know the self, no matter what the cost. Yes, it will require effort. That is why it is called tapas, right? Tappa, 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 tappa. When Brahmaji, the world was created and Brahmaji was created, he came, the lotus opened and Brahmaji came out from the lotus. He looked around, there was nothing. There was no earth because he is a creator, right? If he is not created, he is just born. Where will the earth come from? There was no earth. There was water everywhere in our universe. There are many, many universes and there are multiple Brahmas. That is another topic of discussion which we have already done in Bhagavatam in the initial chapters. And he looked around. There was only water. He was sitting on the lotus. And he did not know where he came from. Who am I? Where have I come from? Brahmaji's situation is no different from ours. Who am I? Aap kaun hai? Who are you? You're going to say, I am so and so. Who are you? I am so and so. This is my name. Who are you? I am. Then you add on to your qualification and then you add on to your family background. But this other person says, who are you? Because you're not the body, you're not the name, you're not the family, you're not the education, you're not the qualification. You're not where you stay, you're not where you have come from. No city, nothing can define you. The question still remains prominently, who are you? And Brahmaji said, where have I come from? And where have you come from? I have come from Rajasthan, or I have come from Maharashtra. I have come from US. Where have you come from? Keep asking this question and keep answering it. Go deeper and deeper and deeper, from the name to the family, to make it broader and broader and broader and broader. Or you can narrow it and narrow it and narrow it and narrow it, up to you. Till you reach the answer of who am I? Where have I come from? Brahmaji asked the same questions. Who am I? Where have I come from? Who am I? Where have I come from? And what happened? He went down into the stem of the lotus. He went deep within to see. Probably he came from the lotus. He could not meet the end. He looked around. The ocean was rough and it was carrying him. It was roaring. He did not know. And then when the waves were slashing, they went thappa, 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 thappa. He realized that I have been asked to do tapasya. Tappa, 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 tappa. And he sat down, not searching outside, not running around anymore. He crossed his legs and he just sat down, closed his eyes and ventured within. Beyond the universe, beyond the ocean, beyond the lotus, beyond the body, beyond the name, beyond the form. He kept going in and in and in and in within himself. And thousands of years of tapasya before he came to realize who he was. And that is where the Lord gave him the Chatushloki Bhagwat. The 4 shlokas, the main 4 shlokas of Bhagwat. Now there are 18,000, right? 4 Chatushloki Bhagwat. So what is the Bhagwat? Bhagwat as the answer of who am I? Where have I come from? Who am I? Where have I come from? Brahmaji also started with this question. Who am I? Where have I come from? And by questioning and doing tapa, sitting down, resisting the temptation to open his eyes, resisting the temptation to get up, resisting the temptation to look around, resisting the temptation to run. He just sat down, calmed himself down. Because once we are able to calm ourselves down, we realize that the answers are within. कहीं दूर जाना ही नहीं था. There was no distance to run. There was no journey to take, because we are there. We are very much there. The problem is we are not looking where we are supposed to look. Drishti में खोट है. And that is tapa. Very simple. So are we supposed to sit down under a tree? No, not that kind of a tapa is not needed. Such a simple tap they have told us through this poem and through the initial paragraph. What a choice between hating and loving. A choice between hating and loving. A choice between, what does he say? losing there and blaming it on you. Not losing your head when everybody is blaming it on you. That is tapasya, isn't it? What is tapasya? When somebody says something wrong to you, you want to immediately retort, right? We always want to retort and give it back. But at that moment, if we are able to keep quiet and tell ourselves, it's all right, this too shall pass. No grudges, no hate, no personal agendas here. That is tapa. See this here. When your words want to be foul, yet you sweeten them. When there are 1,000 foul words which you want to utter, yet silence is what you choose. That is tapa. When we are able to stop ourselves from behaving in a manner which we know is not right. We always know. When somebody is shouting, we know shouting back is not a choice we should make. But what happens? We say, Samajh nahi aata. It is not that I don't want to, keep quiet, but I am unable to control. Exactly. That control is tapas. Simple. That control is tapas. And we have to train ourselves. This is a very tough training. Many say ki tapas, no, tapas is not for us. We are in Kali Yuga. Only naam is important. There is nothing better than naam. But क्या कलयुग में ही रहेंगे आप? ऊपर जाएंगे ही नहीं क्या कभी? Start with Hari Naam. Hari Naam, the power that Hari Naam has is phenomenal. It can take us from Kali Yuga to Dwapar, to Treta, to Satyug. And with every yug, we are reaching what we want to up our sadhana. Of course, this Naam will help us. Hari Naam Aadhar hai Kali Yuga mein. Because when we are established, Kali Yuga is, where is Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga is all around us or Kali Yuga is within us? Think about this. Or Kali Yuga is within our universe? Or Kali Yuga is within our multiverse? Again, expand and contract. We can be in Kali Yuga also, right? But there could be Kali Yuga all around me, but I could be established in Satyug or Dwapar or Treta. And in every yug, there is a different kind of tapa that is needed. So it depends on where you are. And Hari Naam Aadhar to will be there throughout. When in Hanuman Chalisa they say, it is so beautiful, this line has been catching my attention for the past 2-3 readings. It says, Aur devata chittana dharahi, Hanumat se hi sarva sukha karahi. What does it mean? I have been asking myself, what does it mean? It means very clear, Aur devata chittana dharahi. What are the devatas? Again, we have done it in Bhagavad. Every organ of our body, every part of our body is associated with a dev. The Indra, and who controls all the Indriyas, all the different elements? The Lord, Indra, isn't it? Indra is the Lord of our Indriyas, of our senses. Or Devta, these are all Devtas, जो हमारे अलग अलग शरीर के पार्ट में विराजमान है. So, और देवता चित्त न धरहि. No restraint, no, what is it? No substitution, no suppression. और देवता चित्त न धरि. हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि. हनुमत, भक्ति. सारा ये जो अलाइनमेंट है, ओनली भक्ति हरि नाम से हो जाएगा. So all I want is, Hanuman ji stands for bhakti, isn't it? So my focus is going to be on bhakti. My focus is going to be on the Lord. All these senses will be tamed automatically. Rather than working on each sense at a time. I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to hear anything bad. I'm not going to see anything bad. And what did we discuss initially? The minute we say, I am not going to, that sense or that negative tendency becomes overbearingly powerful. So instead, what does he say? I'm not going to focus on any of the devatas, right? Let the senses be. Hanumat se hi sarva sukha karhi. I will focus on Shri Hanuman. I will be in Hari Bhakti. That is it. And with Hari Bhakti, all my sense upheavals will come in place. Of course, ye hoga. But at the same time, while we are doing bhakti, while we are enjoying the Shakti of bhakti, automatically in our heart, the yearning to do tapasya will come. Simple. Tapasya can be as simple as going to the mall and not buying something which is tempting you. And by telling yourself, no, I have enough, I don't need to buy. That is a big tapasya nowadays. Very big. We feel these are small. No. Not giving in to temptations of any kind. Be it foul words, be it excessive shopping, be it excess of anything, to be very honest. The minute we are able to moderate in our life, we are doing tapasya, because tapasya means what? Not being carried away. And many people might justify, oh, we are living in moderation. What is moderation? As per our scriptures, moderation is not कि हाँ, I think this is moderation, this is my definition of moderation. गलत है. ये सोचना गलत है. See, we are cheating and lying to ourselves. Living in moderation is living a simple life. Having only what you need is moderation. बाकी तो you can put your 1000 definitions of moderation. उसका तो कोई क्या कर सकता है. That is tapa. And we all have to incorporate tapas in our day-to-day life. This is our daily discipline. Niyam is a daily discipline. It is not only for a sadhak. Grihast might say, no, it does not work for us. It does. Not overindulging in anything. Not getting overtly attached to anything or anybody. That is tapas. Sit down and identify the elements which can be avoided. This is my daily routine. Not being tempted to talk on phone for 2 hours and restraining and saying, no, life is precious, time is precious. Whatever is needed will be uttered. Rest, I have to dedicate my time. Prioritizing is tapas. We feel that these words are applicable to people who are sages and sannyasis. Aisa nahi hai. All our scriptures are written for people like you and me. Because for the people who have reached, all this is not applicable. ये हमारे लिए लिखे गए हैं, हमें ही इनको implement करना है. To bear anything and everything that comes across on the spiritual path and with complete dedication to the spiritual practices. This could be for a sage. Right? So, this is the beauty of tapas. Tapas also means restraint of senses and meditation. And mental tapas is more powerful than physical tapas. We could control our mouth. We might decide, okay, we won't utter anything negative. We won't say anything harsh. However, how many times have we actually foul-mouthed the person who's sitting in front of us? So tapas, okay, start with a grosser level, but gradually it has to become subtler and subtler. Tapas in thought, word and deed. Take one element. It could be anything, whatever you think is your weakness, take it. So first, don't act on it. Then don't utter words about it. And don't even think about it. How will this happen? Practice. There is this sage, there is this Ma, she was saying that once a disciple came to her and he said, Ki, I want to attain realization, I want to attain the Lord. How long will it take? How long will it take to attain the Lord? ऐसे ऐसे लोग भी आते हैं. So she said, you come, you dedicate your life, please come and stay with me for 5 years. He said, 5 years? That long? She said, 10 years. He said, 10 years? Are you really sure it'll take 10 years for self-realization if I dedicate my life to it? She said 14 years. And she said, if you utter another word, I'll make it 20. Who can say how long will it take? It'll take as long as it takes. It could be a second, it could happen now, it could take births. That is not for us to analyze. Because we do not know where we are on our journey. आदि मध्य अंत का कोई हमें ज्ञान नहीं है. All we can do is be in the present and do the best we can. This is tapas. What is Swachya? Purity. Of course, external purity is very important. And it is, again, it might look here, why would the Shastras talk about such simple things? These are not simple things. Look around. Just look around your house. And tell yourself, there is so much that I don't need. This clutter is weighing me down. There is no fresh air, there is no purity, there is dirt. I need to get rid of the clutter. I need to declutter my house. I need to give away the extras. Very essential. Being swatch ourselves. We might think, what is the, karma card hai? They say you have to take a bath before you enter and cook and all that. Abhi to everybody is following it because of coronavirus. That is a different story. But yet we debate. Why is it? It is all, primitive knowledge and all that. No. Once we take a bath, how do we feel? We feel fresh, isn't it? We feel rejuvenated. We feel nice. And with that positive aura, if we are cooking the food or we are doing any activity, would it rub into that activity also? Yet, as soon as we get up in the morning, without taking care of ourselves, without grooming ourselves, or without taking a bath, we rush to the kitchen. We are half sleepy, half tired, half grumpy. And then we shell out some food. What kind of vibrations are there in that food? Is that food pure? Swachha hai ya nahi hai? We have to ask this question to ourselves. So external purity, be it our house, be it our surrounding, be it this body. We live in this body, isn't it? Because in Tapa, the first question is, who am I? Where have I come from? Now, if this body is not me, I am living in this body, just like I am living in this house, or just like I am living in the city, or just like I am living in the country, everything has to be neat and clean and tidy. So this body has to be neat, clean and tidy also. Swachha. The house has to be neat, clean and tidy. Declutter. The energies are being blocked by everything extra that is hoarded in our house. जीने के लिए कुछ ज़्यादा चाहिए नहीं होता. ये तो अभी तक काफ़ी लोगों को समझ आ गया होगा. Right? So, Swachha. Cleanliness, purity outside. In everything we do, in everything we touch, beauty and purity. And then we slowly move inside. Purity in us. Swachha. Purity in our thoughts. Purity in our words. Purity in our deeds. Many a times our deed can be very pure to look at, right? But what is conspiring in our mind? Sometimes our actions are okay, but our words are speaking the reverse. We might be giving somebody something and we might be, sulking at the same time. It is not what you're giving, it is how you're giving that makes a difference. Purity of thought, word and deed, actions. And it can be felt by people. This very beautiful story of Vibhishan and Shukdevji keeps coming to my mind all the time. Shukdevji was very young and he said that I'm leaving. This is it. I don't want to be a sansari anymore. I'm going to adopt brahmacharya. I'm going to go away. I want to do tapas and this is the life I have chosen. Now Shukdevji was walking ahead and Vibhishan did not accept it, and he was running after Shukdevji. Now Shukdevji was walking and he was running. He was asking the trees and the plants and everybody, have you seen my son? Have you seen my son? And he was running, and at a distance he saw his son passing through a pond. In that pond and around that pond there were a lot of ladies who were bathing. Then they continued as if there was nobody else walking by. Yet, when Vedvyasji came nearby, they suddenly covered themselves up. And Vedvyasji stopped for a moment. He looked at them and he said, what is this? I am an old man, very old. Old enough to be your grandfather. And that young boy just passed by. At that time you were oblivious of his existence and you were walking around like a normal person. And yet when I have come, you are covering yourself up. What kind of a weird behavior is this? The girls answered, though he is young and though you are old, the difference is evident. He is one with Brahman. When he sees us, he does not see a Mahila or a Purush. He does not see a girl or a boy. He sees the soul. He just sees that divine soul in us, and he is also established in being that divine soul. But to you, when you see that I am a girl and you are an old man. That is the difference between you, Sir Vedvyasji, the author of Bhagavad, and your son Shukdevji, the Vachak of Bhagavad. When Parikshit was roaming around, begging people to tell him, to help him, because he knew that death was going to come in 7 days. And he wanted somebody to guide him, somebody to narrate the entire Bhagavad to him, to liberate him. All the sages were around. Vedvyasji was also there. Agastya Muni was also there. Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Durvasa, all the sages, Shukracharya, Brihaspati, the gods and the demons, everybody was there. And he made the asana, he kept it ready and said, please, 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 somebody come and give me this divine knowledge of Bhagavad. Not one dared to take the asana. Not even Vedvyasji, who had written the Bhagavad himself. And suddenly from nowhere, Shukdevji from a distance walked by. He came uninvited, sat down and started narrating the Bhagavad to Parikshit. Not only did Parikshit listen to the Bhagavad from Shukdevji, but all the divine sages, even the author of the Shrimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, was sitting with hands joined in front of Shukdevji. The difference was the level of purity. One was knowing and one was imbibing. Shukdevji was established. He was so pure, Satchit Anand Swarup, that he himself was Satchit Anand Swarup and everybody else for him was Satchit Anand Swarup. There was no man, no woman, no mind, no time, no poor, no rich, no old, no young. But in Vedvyasji, according to the story, forgive me because I am sitting on the Vyas Asana, I cannot say anything about Guru, but as per the story, that difference was still there in him. Purity, the level of purity in thought, word and deed. How pure are we? How strongly are we able to retain our purity? Again, it's a very simple story about the scorpion and the sage, where the scorpion was drowning and the sage wanted to rescue him. So from the water, again and again the sage tried to put him on the shore. Yet the scorpion kept biting him. And the sage would drop him in the water again. But again, he would pick him up and try again. Again, the scorpion would bite him. Again, he would slip out of the sage's hand. Again, the sage would hold him and tried to put him in the corner, and this went on for many, many, many times, and he was bitten and bitten and bitten, and his hand became blue with the poison of the scorpion. Yet he did not give up. Ultimately, he was able to rescue the scorpion. At a distance, a person was watching. He said, "What did you do? That scorpion was biting you, yet you rescued it. Look at your hand. It is so badly injured." The sage said, Yes, the scorpion was biting me. It is its nature to be poisonous. It is its nature to bite. Yet I am Satchidanand Swarup. It is my nature to help. It is my nature to give. It is my nature to protect. Sat Chit Anand. I am bliss. I am love. I am joy infinite. So if that scorpion can uphold his own nature, why can't I? That level of purity. No utterance of negative from the mouth. No thought of negativity in my mind. No actions that are negative. How does this purity come? It is a niyam. Niyam is your daily routine. Ye mera niyam hai. What is my niyam? This is my routine. I get up at this time, I drink this, then I eat my breakfast, before that I do my yoga, then I eat my breakfast, then I sit and read, then I go to office, then I come back, afternoon probably is my time to sleep, blah, 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 blah. This is your niyam. This is what I follow. This is also a niyam, which has to be implemented on a daily basis. It is not going to happen overnight. ये हमें करना पड़ेगा. वो बात और है कि कृपा जब होती है तब सब होता है. We'll reach there. But again, this is a niyam. Niyam to uphold cleanliness, not only outer cleanliness, but also inner cleanliness and purity. And for that, what do we have to do? We have to be very careful. We have to be careful of the external purity, which we have already discussed. We have to be very careful of the purity of our thought, word and deed. We have to be very careful about the company we keep. We have to be very careful about the food we eat. We have to be very careful about the things we read. We have to be very careful about what we watch. We have to be very careful about everything we come in contact with. Vigilance. Abhi hota hai na? We do not know what we'll touch, and the coronavirus is going to come to our hand, right? So we wear our gloves, we wear our mask, we will, not touch anything. Why? Because that virus could come, and that virus can be deadly. You do not know how it will react. In the same way, impurities are also very deadly. We do not know how they will react. So we have to be very careful, alert. Is the company I'm keeping right? Is the book I'm reading right? What I'm saying right? What I'm watching right? What I'm eating right? Whom I'm mingling with right? Where I'm going right? What I'm doing right? How I keep myself right? Am I clean enough? Is my house extra full or hoarded? It's cluttered? Everything. Just as careful as we are about touching things outside today. That kind of vigilance is needed for purity. And then it will become a part of us. By the time it becomes a part of us, we will have reached. When it becomes effortless, that is when the journey begins. That is what we discussed, right? But to make it effortless, what do we have to do? We have to keep practicing. Tap kare, swachh rakhe, purity maintain kare, essential. Then there is santosh. When we are pure and we are doing tapasya, santosh will come. When we are taking Hari Naam, let's say, Prabhu Tera Naam Aadhar, finish, contentment will come. When we make Prabhu's Naam Aadhar and we say that we have full trust in what you're doing, no matter how bleak or miserable the situation looks, I know you are in control and you have my best interest in mind. Now, best interest does not mean that material best interest, material riches, material gains, material love, attachments. No. It means the best interest for your journey. What journey? The best interest for the journey of the soul. Ye jagat ek, what is it? It's a test. And we have to elevate. So whatever is the best for my soul, I'm not talking about best for my body, best for my blood relations, best for my material gains, best. No. Whatever is best for me, when we are saying me, I am not the body, I am the soul. So whatever is best for me, you shall do. Whatever I have taken birth to learn shall be given to me. We have a very different prayer, right? When we pray to God, we say, Prabhu, I surrender to you because I know whatever is the best for me, you will do. But the me that we are considering is very different from what our scriptures are asking us to consider. Best for me is not the me body, it is the me soul. Because I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. I am that. What is that I am? Right? Again, tapas, who am I? Where have I come from? God, who am I? We are talking about that me, not this me. And that's a dosh. Choiceless acceptance that whatever is best for my eternal journey is happening, irrespective of whether it is good or bad for the material body, the gross body or the material world that I am in. I accept it, my Lord. I have faith that whatever is best for that divine eternal being is unfolding. That will give contentment. And how can we get contentment? By giving. Whenever we get restless, there is one analysis we should do. We should sit down quietly and ask ourselves, why am I restless? Yes, introspection. Scriptures, we will talk about Swadhyaya, right? There we'll talk about a lot of introspection. Ask yourself, what is it that is making me restless? 99% of the time, the cause of our discontent or our restlessness would be not getting something from somebody. Somebody has said something to me. I should have been given more attention. My expectations are not met. So all those things which are causing discontent in us are going to be what we want to take. And how to become contented? Instead of seeking love, start thinking about how much love can I give. Instead of thinking who cares about me, start thinking about how I can care for more and more people. Instead of thinking about what God has given me, start thinking about what I can give to this divine world that my Lord has created. Instead of thinking about who met my expectations or not, start thinking about whether I can help people not get hurt. The minute we change and reverse this take to give, we will become contented. A person who believes in giving is always content. There are no expectations, right? There is no ego game. Giving without expecting anything in return, be it appreciation or material things. Sadhu, contented, total contentment. Because your focus is on giving joy. Your focus is not on getting joy from people, because the source of your joy is that divine. Once you get connected to the divine, what do we need? It's a very beautiful thing. These days we are using a lot of the backup charger. So once we connect to the source, right? The phone to the source, it is there, right? The source, powerhouse. It will not get over. The phone is there. But when you connect yourself to a backup charger, the backup charger is also going to get drained eventually, isn't it? So where are we connected? Are we connected to that backup charger, or are we connected to the source? The minute we are connected to the source, there is no draining us. Instead, become like that backup charger. You connect yourself to the source and give strength to everybody else. Keep connected to the source. rather than being charged by that. It's a very simple example, but isn't that what we do? We want to be charged. We want to get joy from other people. Why not give and take the joy from that divine source? Or this divine source which is sitting within you, telling you that you are Sat Chit Anand. You are Sat Chit Anand Swarup. Sat Chit Anand or Sada Chir Anand. You are always in bliss. You are bliss personified. You are truth, bliss, consciousness. What does this truth, bliss, consciousness need from other people? And that is contentment. The minute we know that the Lord is in control, that real me is in play, that real me is the focus. I am Satchidanand Swarup. Everything is happening as per the Lord's will. All is God's will. Automatically contentment will come in. It is a beautiful thing. And contentment comes with bhakti. Total devotion to the Lord. Chant the name of the Lord. Sing His glories. Bhakti will lead to contentment. Bhakti will make you a giver, not a taker. Bhakti will make you pure gradually. Bhakti will take you towards tap. Many people say that we sit in meditation. Meditation is not done. It happens. You cannot meditate. Meditation is a state of mind. It just happens. Suddenly ध्यान लग जाता है. Suddenly समाधि लग जाती है. That is what I have heard. And that is what I truly believe. That is contentment. And that is what we talked about here also, isn't it? In both these poems, they are talking about contentment. A choice we have to be contented. And how does all this happen? Swadhyaya. Two ways to look at it. Study of self and study of scriptures. Study of self is very essential. We study everything around us. We'll study the economy, we'll study the people, we'll study the trends, we'll study their behavior. We will know everything that is inspiring and conspiring around us. But do we know ourselves? Do we want to know ourselves? This is a very important question. Because many a times we are scared of ourselves also. Because we are not honest to ourselves. Not only do we put a face on our face for other people, we have a face on our face for ourselves also. We have forgotten what we truly are. And we don't even want to know. क्यों? जब तक हम खुद को नहीं जानेंगे तब तक प्रभु को क्या जानेंगे? And if we do not know ourselves well, how can we claim to know anybody else? If we don't love ourselves, how can we love anybody else? If we don't enjoy our own company, how can we enjoy anybody else's company? If we find fault in ourselves, how can we not see fault in others? This is something which we really, really have to think about. Swadhyay. We spend time with everybody, right? In our timetable, is there time written, this is my time with myself? ये मेरा समय है. This is the time I'm going to spend with myself. Is it there anywhere? Myself does not mean with a book or with TV. No. Me with myself alone without anything. I will sit with myself. I want to talk to myself. I want to know myself. I want to introspect. Do we ever have that attitude? No. Even when we are alone, we want a book, we want a gadget, we want to watch TV, we want a phone. We cannot be alone. सब छोड़ दो एक बार. स्वाध्याय करो. Know yourself. Like this Kabir's doha, it really touches my heart. बुरा देखन मैं चला, बुरा ना दिखया कोई. जब मन झांका आपना, मुझसे बुरा ना कोई. हम उसी से डरते हैं. Because the minute we look into ourselves, make a note, no? Analyze. Just the way we dissect and analyze other people. वो ऐसी है, ये ऐसा है, this person's behavior is like this, that person's behavior is like this is the flaw in him, I've known him for very well, I know how he thinks. You have known yourself for eternity. Do you know how you think? Do you know what triggers depression? Do you know what triggers anger? Do you know what triggers sorrow? Do you know what is your weak point? Do you know what is your strength? Right? We do not know ourselves. We have gone to space, we have gone deep into the oceans, but we have never gone deep within ourselves. We have to make time for yourself, to be with yourself alone. We owe ourselves that much. Be honest to ourselves. Understand ourselves. Know ourselves. And then once we know what we are, we know our strengths, we know our weakness, we know our flaws, we know our plus points, then only can we work on ourselves. Remove that false face. Have the courage and accept. Be in full acceptance of everything that you are. Because once you're able to accept yourself, you will be able to change yourself. It does not mean that I'm in full acceptance and I'll always be like this. नहीं, वो गलत thought process है. This is what you are. But I am an amsh of the Lord. I am Satchitanand Swarup. Currently, this is what I see. Now, what we are seeing, what I'm saying is, know yourself are the layers, right? We have to be very careful. Inside, we are all Satchitanand Swarup. There is no difference. Between that and me, ultimately, there is no difference. However, there are layers around. And knowing these layers, only if we know that there are layers, and if we know what the layers are, we will be able to remove them one by one by one by one by one to reach our own true nature. For that, we need to spend time with ourselves. And Swadhyay can also mean spending time with the scriptures. Swadhyay. Swadhyay, what is Swadhyay? That is another problem. Swadhyay, people feel Swadhyay is when we will read the interpretations given by other people. That is what is Swadhyay for most or everybody, I feel, nowadays. Oh, nowadays I am reading the commentary by so-and-so guru. Very good. I am listening to the commentary by so-and-so guru. I am actually working on the commentary of so-and-so guru. And I have seen people following it by the T. Totally. आप अपना स्वाध्याय नहीं कर रहे हैं. This is not Swadhyay. You are reading somebody else's experience. And our scriptures tell us that every experience is different. Where is your Swadhyay here? And one guru, Purna Mata, once said, till when are you going to keep reading other people's experiences? Where are you going to experience the divine yourself? Kab? Swadhyay is when the manan happens, the chintan happens, based on your thought. Most people spend their entire, so they can be jnanis, they can be knowledgeable, but they are not vigyanis. We know the difference, right? We studied the difference also. There are many jnanis walking around. But they do not know the Lord. Because kabhi swadhyay kiya hi nahi. That is why Shankaracharya ji said, right? Bhaj Govindam, Govindam bhaj moodmate. Samprapte sannihite kale, nahi, rakshati dukrid karne. No amount of knowledge is going to be useful. Go with, connect with that divine. Connect with the divinity within. Connect with the scriptures and mull over them. ज़्यादा नहीं तो थोड़ा ही पढ़िए. क्या लिखा है? Bhagavad is Sakshat Sri Krishna. To understand Bhagavad, okay, it's good. Start with commentary. Start with listening to people. But if it is not taking you to the yearning of knowing the scriptures yourself, then what is the point? from one interpretation to the other interpretation and then summarizing the interpretation. Khatam ho gayi baat. There is no swadhyay there. And you can mark my words here. Read, analyze, interpret, internalize, mull. That is swadhyay of the scriptures. Unless and until that kind of an internalizing happens of each and every word of the scriptures, there is no swadhyay. Neither are we with the self, nor are we with our scriptures. We are again fooling ourselves by saying, मैंने स्वाध्याय करा, आज इस गुरु की किताब पढ़ी, आज उस गुरु का प्रवचन सुना. सुन के क्या किया, that is स्वाध्याय. So, this is swadhyay. And there are a lot of questions which we can ask while we are doing swadhyay. When we are sitting with ourselves, when we are sitting with our scriptures, ask, who am I? What am I? Am I the ever-changing body? Am I the mind? Am I the thought? Am I the seer? Am I the observer? Am I the changeless? Am I the energy? Am I that? Tattvam asi aham brahmasmi. Who am I? Where have I come from? Swadhyay. And bhai, ultimately, Ishwar Pranidhana, surrender to God. देखिए, all this without the Lord's grace is not possible, right? And the Lord's grace is always flowing. Who says that the Lord's grace is not flowing? Lord's grace is ever flowing everywhere. The problem is, we are standing under the shower of grace with the umbrella. Just like the sun is shining bright, but we have put double blinded curtains, the thick curtains, and we cannot say, we cannot say that it's dark outside. The sun is there. It's our choice that we have put curtains, isn't it? It's our choice that we are walking around with an umbrella. What do we have to do? We have to remove the umbrella. We have to open the curtains. We have to remove the curtains so that the sunlight can come in and the shower of grace can touch us and reach us and drench us. तो छतरी हटाने की मेहनत तो हमें ही करनी पड़ेगी, right? We'll have to put this effort of removing the umbrella, becoming eligible for what that Lord wants. And that is yam and niyam. Reaching the eligibility of understanding and reaching the frequency where we can connect to the grace, because grace is everywhere. Liberation can happen right now, this very minute. But are we in that state? Cleansing is needed. Cleansing, a lot of cleansing, removing of layers after layers. We have actually covered ourselves with layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. We have forgotten what we are and who we are. Why we have taken birth, this precious human birth. We have worked for years and end, births and end to get this one human body. And क्या करते हम? We forget all the punya we have put to get this one human body to cross the ocean of mundane existence, but we get trapped in the ocean of mundane existence. भवसागर पार नहीं कर पाते, भवसागर में तो हम डूब जाते with 1,000 explanations of why we are drowning and sinking into this bhavsagar. But as Sugriv says, right? Sugriv very beautifully puts कि प्रभु, all this is right. Yam, niyam, sanyam, सब कर लेंगे. But it does not work. We are tuch. We are such medial pranis. हमारे से नहीं होता प्रभु. You are Mayapati. You are so amazing and your Maya is so mesmerizing that nobody can resist your Maya. The words that Sugriv has said are so beautiful. I should have kept them ready. But he says nobody can fight with your Maya because she's enticing and she traps. And who am I? If I could have been able to fight the Maya, I would have been you. I would have been a Ram, I would have been a Krish. But I am Sugriv. So it is not my fault, Lord, that I forgot your work. That I forgot that I had to help you fight Basita. It is not my fault. It is your fault. Because without your grace, Nobody can reach you. Without your permission, we can't even turn towards you. हे प्रभु, आपकी कृपा के बिना कुछ नहीं हो सकता. और तुम्हारी कृपा पाए कोई कोई, ये सब साधन से नहीं होई. तुम्हारी कृपा पाए कोई कोई. All this. So we talked about a lot of sadhans, right? All these weeks we have been talking about, we have to do this, we should behave like this, we should not do this, we should nurture this. But again, Sugriva is negating everything. He's saying, ye sab sadhan se nahi hui. All this effort is futile. Tumhari kripa paaye koi koi. Only through your kripa this is possible. But over here that does not mean we do not put in the effort. Effort to डालना ही पड़ेगा. And the effort that we are putting is also a sign of His kripa only. If we are listening to this today, if we are reading the scripture today, what is it? It is His kripa. Without His kripa, can we even read one word from the Ramayana or the Bhagavad? Without His kripa, can we listen to one word of His name? Without His kripa, not the ra of His name can fall into our ears. And if that is happening, His kripa is there with us. Ye sukh sadhan. What sukh? Sukh of contentment, sukh of divine love, sukh of purity happens only by your kripa, Prabhu. And if I have started walking on this path, if we have started listening to your name, even if we have said the ra of Ram, your kripa is there on us, na Prabhu. So Sugriva is saying, ye sukh sadhan se nahi hoye. So he's saying, be very careful. Sugriva is warning us. There is a very thin line between that ego and realization. If we say that ये सब मैंने किया है तो ego आ जाएगी, realization नहीं होगा. So he's saying it is not me who is doing anything. It is your kripa that is making me do all this, Prabhu. नहीं तो हमारा क्या सामर्थ कि हम आपका नाम भी ले लें. ये सुख साधन से नहीं होई, प्रभु तुम्हारी कृपा पाए कोई कोई. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. With this, we have completed the Vibhishan Gita. And what does Ramji says? Sakha dharma bay asarath jaake, jeet kahe, jeet na kahe na katahu riputake. Maha ajay sansar ripu, jeet sakai sobir, jaake asarath hoye dhr, सुनहो सकामति धीर. जिसके पास पे ऐसा रथ है, who can defeat? And this person who has this kind of a chariot can cross the ocean of mundane existence. Even Maya can't tie him in her shackles. जिसके पास ये रथ है, उसके पास मेरी कृपा भरपूर है. Because this रथ is not achievable without my कृपा. And everybody who's hearing, everybody who's reading, even when we are thinking about the Lord, the kripa is there. The anumati is there. Now, start walking. One step we'll take, 100 steps He'll run towards us. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. With this, we have come to an end. मतलब endless ही है. हरि अनंत, हरि कथा अनंता. राम की कथाओं को कोई अंत कैसे कर सकता है? But still, as of now, we will now take permission from Ram Avatar and move on gradually to Krishna Leela. We have a bit of book 9 left. We'll complete that. And in book 10, we'll start with Krishna Leela. But this understanding of Ram Avatar is very essential. जब तक we won't understand Shri Ram, Krishna समझ नहीं आएंगे. And when we don't understand Shri Krishna, Ram समझ नहीं आएंगे. That is what he say, right? Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They both complete each other. One said what is to be done, the other showed us what has to be done. We are so blessed to get this knowledge from the Divine Lord. Let's just chant the Vibhishan Gita and close the session. रावणुरथी बीरथ रघुबीरा देखहि विभीषण भयहु अधीरा अधिक प्रीति मन भासदेहा बंदी चरण कर सहित सनेहा नाथ नरत नहीं तन पद त्राणा केहि विधि जीत बबीर बलवाना सुनहु सखा कह कृपा निधाना जहि जय होय सो स्यंदन आना सौरज धीरज तेहि रथ चाका सत्यशील दृढ़ ध्वजा पताका बल विवेक तब परहित घोड़े क्षमा कृपा सब तार जुजोड़े ईश भजनु सारथी सुझाना बिरति चरम संतोष कृपाना दान परशु बुद्धि शक्ति प्रचंडा बल में ज्ञान कठिन कौडंडा अबल अचल मन त्रोण समाना सब जब नियम सीली मुख नाना अबल अचल मन त्रोण समाना सब जब नियम सीली मुख नाना कवच अभेद विप्र गुरु पूजा एहि सब विजय उपाय न दूजा सखा धर्म भय असरत जाके जीतर कहर कतहु रिपुता के जीतर कतहु रिपुता के। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरि मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरि मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरि मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय वासुदेवाय। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। बोलो बजरंग बली की जय। जय श्री राम जय श्री कृष्ण जय हनुमान।